Scarlet Everose here. Today we're talking about one of Jujutsu's most layered characters, Choso. At first glance, he seems cold, intimidating, and mysterious, but underneath that exterior is someone driven by family, loyalty, grief, and the search for who he truly is. So let's dive into why Choso has become such a fan favorite. Now, before we actually dive in, you guys, I want to say a really quick welcome back. I know I've been gone for a long while, like over maybe a month, and there's a lot of things I'm going to say probably towards the end of this video, so we're going to dive really quick into this one, and just letting you know this might be one of my most shortest. So let's dive in. Segment 1. Who is Choso? One of the Death Painting Moon brothers, a human and a cursed spirit hybrid. A powerful blood manipulation user, one of the 9 Death Painting brothers, although the story mainly focuses on Choso, Ezo, and Kinshu. Choso's entire identity revolves around protecting the people he considers family. You can tell right away that Choso isn't motivated by power or status. Everything he does is driven by his love and loyalty towards his brothers. Later in the story, Choso discovers that Yuji is connected to him in a way he has never expected because of Kenjaku's actions. The revelation completely changes the direction of his journey. So real quick on that. So when Choso kind of finds out about, Yuji being his brother, he gets really shocked on that because he never expected a human to be related to him. And since, Yuji killed, Enzo and, the other brother, I forgot his name, Choso wants revenge on Yuji until they were fighting in the train of Shibuya and then in the bathrooms of Shibuya. I know that sounds weird, but when you really look at it, when spoilers ahead though, when you really look at it and you realize Choso's not really a bad guy, he's just a person that loves very deeply, and it can kind of be considered a little bit of a loner. He's a kind of a lonely person, but he has a good heart, and and if you guys do not know who Kenjaku is, I talk a lot about him in my Gito episode, if you guys want to watch it right there. And also with Yuji and the rest, I'll put a playlist right there. And I'll talk, maybe I can do a segment on Kenjaku of just how that came to be. Just let me know, down in the comments. So anyway, so once he kind of realizes, oh, Yuji is related to me somehow, by their mother, that's when he gets really protective of Yuji, and that is so sweet. Like, first you're rooting for Yuji to get at first until you realize Choso, isn't really a bad guy. He's just a person that just is really devoted to family. And he's such a sweetheart. In my personal opinion, he is such a sweetheart. And he became my favorite character real quick after that. Yeah. So let's keep going. Segment 2. Family, loyalty, and growth. What makes Choso so compelling isn't just his strength. It's the emotional journey he goes through, his unwavering loyalty to his family, learning difficult truths about himself, choosing compassion over hatred, questioning everything he believed about his family and purpose. His growth is what transformed him from a mysterious antagonist into one of the most emotional characters in the series. So real quick, like I said, he was in Kenjaku's group of cursed energies, plus equally with his, painting womb brothers as well before, Yuji became into the picture, and all he cared about was, not just protecting, his brothers, but, making sure whatever, he wasn't how can I explain Choso? He wasn't he wasn't self-hatred, he just didn't like people, which can be a bit of a mood sometimes. But then he finds out the truth about himself, and that he's related to Yuji, and that, about what Kanjaku did to his family, within that, and, he turns on Kanjaku real quick on that, too. It's kind of amazing. And, now he's with, Yuji and the rest of the group, and he's very, very protective of Yuji. Oh my gosh, whenever he comes along, and one of the iconic lines is just yelling Yuji out of nowhere. And it's the most cutest, funniest thing, sweetest thing in the world. And, he would do anything for Yuji. And, the thing about Choso, though, is not just his compassion, it's how he switched up from, being an antagonist and, having kind of been brainwashed by Kanjaku to, learn the truth about himself and every day, and, learning about being a good guy. And he turned into a good guy pretty quickly, and not that Kanjaku would care if he lived or died in that moment. But when Kanjaku kind of found out that Choso instead of quote unquote betraying Kanjaku, he kind of didn't care, but was kind of shocked on how Choso kind of switched up from being killing others to being protective of a enemy real quick of Kanjaku's. And and now he, and what I love about Choso is that he's very determined. While Yuji is confused as hell, like, wow, how are we related? Which was like my kind of question. I was like, oh, I'm still wondering about that still. But anyway, Choso tells him to refer to Choso as his big brother, and he would not let Yuji do anything unless he did, which is the most sibling thing I've ever seen. And I think Choso is the older brother, which makes sense, because as a younger sibling me, I related because, when you grow up with an older sibling, not saying that my siblings ever forced me, no, but they always want to make sure that the little sibling knows that they're in charge. That I know too inward, too deep for that, but it's the most cutest, funniest thing between Choso and Yuji. Yeah, but it's a pretty sweet, bitter, sad reality of, of a person who kind of was brainwashed by someone, and then realizing that, that their loved one isn't really a bad guy, and then you turned into a good guy. I love those dynamic movies and shows. Alright, guys, let's keep going. Segment 4, Final Thoughts plus a personal message. Choso reminds us that even people who seem intimidating can have incredibly human emotions. His story is about loyalty, sacrifice, identity, and the length we are willing to go for the people we love. Sometimes our greatest strength isn't our power, it's in our ability to protect the people who matters most. That's why he became one of my most favorite characters to analyze. So real quick on that, before I go, you guys. When you really love someone, and they mean the world to you, like genuinely, you're willing to put anything down on line. I mean, not everything, but anything that matters to you closely to that person. And growth is very uncomfortable, you guys. I can tell you that right now, but it's necessary, and it's important for not just the plot of someone's story, of your story, but if you want to kind of live like a main character, do uncomfortable growth in order to achieve that. Especially with the people around you that you genuinely love and they genuinely love you back. Not the people that just says that they love you, but the people who genuinely see, that you can succeed and they're not jealous type of people. They want to see you succeed, and that's the type of people you should always go long and behold for them if they're willing to do the same for you. Alright, now for the personal message. Before I say goodbye, I just wanted to thank you all so much for being here. This is probably one of my most shortest episodes I've made so far, and I wanted to be completely honest with you guys. As many of you know, I'm currently recovering from a health-related fatigue. I'm also receiving treatment for my iron deficiency, so I've been listening to my body while still creating the content that I love. But I also did not want to skip this video. I still wanted to show up for you guys. Hopefully, once my treatment helps get my energy back, I'll be able to jump into my longer videos again. If you guys like to keep up with my recovery journey and future podcast updates, be sure to follow me on Instagram, Spotify, and TikTok. That's where I share my health updates and behind the scenes content. Thank you all for your patience, kind, and continued support. It means the world to me. And also, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. All my socials are down in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed this Choso episode. Until next time, bye loves. Bye.